All right, what is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic day. We've got 8 MLB games today, so we are going to talk about all those as always. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, absolutely free. Let's recap yesterday. So, another winning day, but we're just like 3-2, 4-3. It's driving me insane, but I'm never going to say no to a winning Sunday, though. I love winning Sundays. It's very hard to get Sundays right. But let's talk about what we had. We had Max Fried over 4.5 Ks. Just he had 2 strikes a lot, just couldn't put them away. Ended with 3. We had the Yankees race to 3, Yankees race to 4. Check and check. Joe Ryan under 7.5 Ks paired with the Twins to win. Now that was a lower unit play. That was only 0.67 units. He had no Ks in the first. I'm like, okay, we're in good shape. And then he just went nuts, and he ended up with 11. So not even close. The Twins did easily win that game, though. Reds raced to 5. That was sweat-free as it could be. They were up 7-0 at one point. Lodolo pitched absolute gem, which kind of hurt our next bet, which was over 2.5 home runs. Now, the weather was supposed to be very good for home runs. There was a ton of hard hit balls that did not come close to leaving the yard. So, yeah, weather report may not have been 100% accurate there. So that was frustrating. Didn't see a single home run, actually. And then our last bet was Dodgers race to 5. It looked a little sweaty when the Pirates came out and hung 2 on glass now right away. But then the Dodgers answered right back, hit this for us in the second inning. So it ended up being relatively sweat-free there. And they got the job done. So let's get into our first game of the day, and it's going to be the Mets and the Nats. And if you were watching this game in the first inning, you thought this was going to be the biggest blowout ever. They're up 5-0 after the first inning. Nats come back and win it. Insane. That is twice now that the Mets have blown a lead in the ninth inning. Pretty wild. This game is going to be at 4:05. So first game of the day. We got a 4-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to left center. It's going to be 57 degrees, so a little on the chillier side, but not bad. We do have low humidity, but we also have low pressure. So it's pretty neutral day, really. My first thought here was let's just do the Mets minus 1.5. But then I don't know if I trust their bullpen. And I don't like how taxed their bullpen is. If we look at Griffin Canning, he's got 2 games pitched against the Nats, both when he was with the Angels, one in 2023, one in 2024. He's got a 4.50 ERA with 4 strikeouts, so he hasn't struck him out much. If we look at Trevor Williams on the other side, going for the Nats, he has a 3-2 record against the Mets with a 3.83 ERA. That said, that spans many years. That's going back to like 2017. Last time he pitched against this team was 2023. So pretty different looking team than it was. If we look at Williams so far this year, he had 3 kind of rough starts to begin the year. Gave up 3 at Toronto, 3 versus Arizona, 6 at Miami. Last 2 have been good. He faced Pittsburgh and Baltimore, though, so I'm not going to read too much into that. My issue is more around I don't trust their bullpen to take the Nats. I do think they are able to hit the ball today. And my fear with taking the Mets is the same thing. I don't trust their bullpen and the arms that they've used. I do have me a little bit concerned there. This bullpen's pretty taxed. So my best bet in this game is going to be to take Griffin Canning to go over 15.5 outs. They need him to go deep. This Washington team does like to swing early, so I feel pretty good about that. As long as Canning can control his pitches, he does have almost a 10% walk rate, which is a little scary when you're taking an over. But I don't see him striking out a lot of guys today, so they should be putting the ball in play, and we'll see what happens. So I like that bet a lot, as opposed to you can also look at the Mets. If you think they're going to rout them, take them on the run line. Get them at plus money right now. But Griffin Canning over 15.5 outs is going to be my best play in that game. All right, next game on the card. Going to be the Twins and the Guardians. Guardians got smacked yesterday. Bailey Ober going up against Gavin Williams. We got 66 degrees, so a pretty nice day. Mid humidity, but we do have some high pressure, and we've got a 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to center field. So I think the pressure and the wind kind of neutralize each other. Should just see a normal game today. If we look at Ober, he is 2-1 with a 284 opponent average, still very skewed from the game against the Cardinals where he got absolutely obliterated. He's got a 5.04 ERA. Going up against Gavin Williams, who is 2-1 with a 237 opponent average and an ERA just a hair over 4. My only concern here is Bailey Ober has not been good against lefties, and this is a very left-handed dominant team. He's given up a 350 average to lefties, 246 to righties. We look at Gavin Williams, struggling against righties, giving up a 300 average, pretty good against lefties. Not a split there I like. But if we look at Ober versus this lineup, they just haven't had success against him. Jose Ramirez is hitting 4 for 15. Steven Kwan is 0 for 12. Bo Naylor, 0 for 6. Carlos Santana, 0 for 6. Kyle Manzardo, 0 for 2. Brian Rocio, 1 for 8. Angel Martinez, 0 for 3. Nolan Jones, 1 for 3. So there's just nothing in here that makes me think he's going to have a bad game. That said, it's baseball, he certainly can. But since that first start of the year where he got roughed up by St. Louis, he has been extremely good. Versus the White Sox, he gave up 1 earned run. Yeah, we're not going to read into that too much. Versus the Mets, he went into the 7th inning, gave up 3 earned runs. That's a pretty good quality start. Versus Kansas City, gave up 1. Versus Houston, gave up 1 earned run. So really good since then. If we look at Gavin Williams, still just not in a spot where I can necessarily trust him. But he's 2-1 with a 2.12 ERA in 4 games against the Twins. That said, he pitched against them twice in 2023, twice in 2024. The 2024 starts, they definitely got to him more than the 2023 starts. If we look at Gavin Williams, kind of again, just not a guy I can necessarily trust. That said, he pitched a really good last outing against the Yankees, went into the 7th inning, only gave up 2 earned runs. But the previous start at Baltimore, he gave up 5 earned runs. So that's really his only bad start of the year. But for me, it just more comes down to the pitch mix and what he throws. And I just can't necessarily get on board with it. So I don't want to trust the Twins bullpen. So what I'm going to do, and what I like in this one, give me the Twins first 5 at plus money. I do think they jump out early on Gavin Williams. We just saw it with Boston. So give me the Twins first 5 in this one as an official play. All right, next game, Yankees and the Orioles. We got a 6-mile-an-hour wind that's going to be kind of blowing in between left field and third base. It's going to be 68 degrees, so a pretty nice day. Low humidity and a little bit of high pressure. Home runs will be down just a little bit, but it's pretty neutral, to be honest with you. New York Yankees bullpen's pretty healthy. We've got Will Warren for the Yankees. Don't necessarily trust him. Going up against Tomoyuki Sugano. Sugano is just, he's somewhat consistent in the fact that he is going to give up runs early, and then he settles in. It's just been, every start's been the exact same way for him. He'll give up 2 or 3 right off the bat, and then he will settle in. That said, a little different against this Yankees offense, and his pitch mix just does not look good against this team. He doesn't throw a ton of straight 4-seam fastballs. He'll mix it with that and a cutter, throws a splitter, a sinker, a slider, and a curveball. So he throws a little bit of everything, but he's not a strikeout guy. He's a contact pitcher. His strikeout, he's got 9 Ks in 28 innings. So really the weakness to the Yankees is they're very vulnerable to strikeouts. So now you've got a guy who really doesn't have strikeout stuff. It just doesn't look good for them. That said, you've got Will Warren on the other side, and he doesn't exactly, give me a ton of confidence. But he had a decent outing last time at Cleveland. Went 5 innings, gave up 2 earned. Start before that, he ended up getting hurt, so he left in the 2nd inning. Start before that was against the Giants, gave up 2. So he's had 1 bad outing. That was at Pittsburgh, where he went 4 innings, gave up 4 earned. Everything else been pretty consistent. So Orioles bullpen usage concerns me a little bit. So Yankees are in a much better spot from a bullpen healthiness standpoint. And if we look at, Sugano, he's pretty much a straight 246 to lefties, 262 to righties. Doesn't give up a hard contact because he mixes his pitches up so well. But I can't get behind this Orioles offense that have done absolutely nothing in the last week and a half. So really nothing I can get behind here. I mean, they're hitting 118 with runners in scoring position over the past week, 157 over the past 2 weeks, and they're ranked 26th on the season for runners in scoring position, whereas the Yankees are 7th ranked with runners in scoring position. So give me the Yankees on the money line, minus 118 on FanDuel as an official play. All right, next one. Cards and the Reds. We rode the Reds hard. We rode them very hard in course, and they came through for us. But little different story here. Andre Palante going up against Nick Martinez. Now, Martinez has never beat the Cardinals. He is 0-2 with a 3.0 ERA. That said, he's only had 2 starts against them. The rest was in relief roles. And honestly, they haven't scored a run off of him in his previous 3 outings against them, which comprised 7 innings. So nothing crazy to write home about. On the other side, Andre Palante has a pretty good track record here. He's 2-1 with a 2.01 ERA, but very similar. Most of his outings were 0.2 innings, an inning, a couple of starts in there. So he did have 3 starts against them last year. And they really weren't able to do much until the last start back in September of 2024, where they were able to get 3 earned runs off of him. But other than that, really couldn't do much on him. Now, if we look at Nick Martinez, he's been consistently giving up earned runs. You can pretty much count that he's going to give up 3 or 4 earned runs just based on how he's pitched this season. Again, not a guy that's going to overpower you with anything. So he doesn't have what you would say great strikeout stuff, going up against another pitcher in Andre Palante who doesn't have strikeout stuff either. And he has given up 4 earned runs in his last 2 starts at Atlanta, at the Mets, and then at Boston he gave up 2. So this is a guy, he is a ground ball pitcher, primarily going to get ground balls. So let's see, it's like 68% of his outs come via the ground ball. Now, Martinez is the flip side. 69% of his outs come via the fly ball. And what's the weather in Great American? Well, it's going to be 66 degrees with high humidity and kind of medium pressure. So it's very good for carry. And there is going to be a slight breeze blowing in from right field, but that really doesn't have much impact on anything at GABP. If we look at the series between the Cards and the Reds since 2022, it's split. At Great American Ballpark, they've each won 11 games. So it's not like one side has dominated the other. What I like here is runs. I like lots of runs. You've actually got 2 teams that are absolutely crushing it with runners in scoring position. The Reds are the best team in baseball with runners in scoring position, hitting 283 on the season, hitting 305 over the last week, 306 over the last 2 weeks. Now you've got the Cardinals over the past week who are hitting 328 with runners in scoring position. Their problem is getting them in scoring position, but once they get them there, they've been very efficient. And the pitch splits for both of these guys don't look great. Reds are the best fastball hitting team in the majors right now, which Palante throws 66% of the time. Now, he could find an angle with the slider. That does scare me a little bit. We just saw Max Meyer absolutely dice up this Reds team with the slider, but big difference between his slider and Palante. So Palante's strikeouts is at 3.5. So I don't think he's going to go nuclear and get 8 or 9 Ks in this one. If we look at batting splits, so Martinez is giving up a 275 average to lefties, 255 to righties, but keeps the hard hit percentage pretty low. Palante, 245 average to lefties, 224 to righties. So his hard hit percentage is much higher at 45%. So I do just like runs. Let's just take the over 8.5 and call it a day. So that's what I like in this one. I would be okay. This is probably going to be a 9 at some point. If you guys are watching this, I'm still okay with the 9. I think there is going to be some runs to be had here. The Reds bullpen still, it's not taxed, but I don't think they're going to throw a guy like Pagan. You got Jabot who went on the IL. So I do see some opportunities there. Get guys like Alexis Diaz, who's just been god awful this season. He could easily give up 3 or 4 runs by himself. If I had to pick who was going to win, I would lean Reds, but I honestly think that's probably the homer in me. I think the value is on the Cardinals with Nick Martinez on the other side. All right. Next game is going to be the A's and the Rangers. We're going to have the roof closed here in Texas. Texas coming off 2 blown games where they should have beat the Giants. And if you missed the ending of that Giants game, you've got to go watch it. It was like watching a 6-year-old T-ball game, how that game ended. So I won't spoil it, but make sure you guys go watch it because it's hilarious. Anyway, it's Patrick Corbin Day. So Patrick Corbin going up against J.P. Sears. So we got 2 lefties going up against each other today. Corbin versus the A's has been very good. He's only faced them twice, but he's 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA with 11 strikeouts. That said, the distance between starts go back a long way, 7 years. But he did just face him in his last outing. So his last outing on April 22nd at Athletics, almost said Oakland, he went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 home runs. They were both solo shots. And on the other side, we've got J.P. Sears, who has also never lost to the Rangers. So J.P. Sears is 5-0 with a 4.10 ERA in 9 games against the Rangers. His last start was also against the Rangers, where he went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, and 2 earned runs. Sears on the season so far has been so-so. He's going to give up 2 or 3 earned runs. You can kind of count on it like clockwork. Corbin has been pretty good for Patrick Corbin. He gave up 3 earned runs against the Cubs, respectful. He gave up 1 earned run against the Angels, who can't hit, and then gave up 2 against the Athletics in a game they won 8-5 about 6 days ago. Now, why I like the Athletics here. So the play here, I don't want to necessarily pick a winner. I would lean Athletics. What I do like is I think they will get to Patrick Corbin. So if we look at these Athletics against left-handed pitchers, they've been really good. Lawrence Butler struggling a little bit, hitting 182, but the rest of this lineup has just been tearing up lefty pitchers. Brent Rooker hitting 280, Soderstrom hitting 259, Langoliers hitting 381, Miguel Andujar's hitting 357, JJ Bleday hitting 429, Jacob Wilson 357, Luis Urias is hitting 333. So they've been absolutely torching lefties, and they haven't been striking out. Very, very, very low strikeout rates, with the exception of a couple of guys. But for the most part, not a lot of strikeouts. So best bet that I like today is Patrick Corbin over 5.5 hits, -120 on DraftKings. So that's going to be our play in that one. All right, next game is going to be the Tigers and the Astros. Good pitching matchup here. Jack Flaherty, Ronel Blanco. Another game where we'll have the roof closed. Still not sure I want to get behind this Tigers bullpen after all the innings they had to eat over the weekend. Ronel Blanco, so far in his career, has been as good as you could possibly be against the Tigers. Faced them twice in 2023 and faced them once in 2024. So all told, he's got 10 innings pitched. He's only given up 2 hits, and he has not given up an earned run to them. So he has a 0 ERA. Jack Flaherty doesn't have a ton of games against the Astros. He's got 5. He's 1-2 with a 2.92 ERA. Last time he faced them 2 times last year. He went 11.2 innings, 10 hits, 3 earned runs. So not terrible here. If we look at this Tigers team against Blanco, obviously they have terrible numbers, but there's not a lot of ABs here. Colt Keith's got 3. Baez has 1. Torres has 1. Sweeney has 1. Carpenter's hit 2 times against him. Riley Green has had the most ABs, and that's 4. So we do have a smaller sample size with this group of players. And then if we look at Blanco's starts, they've been it hasn't been what we've had in the past. Now, his last start was extremely good, and it was against Toronto, who was going through a pretty mighty hitting slump. Kind of still are. But he went into the 7th and gave up 1 earned run. Prior to that, he faced the Cardinals, gave up 3, 2 against the A's, 4 against the Twins, and 3 against the Giants. Jack Flaherty on the other side of the bump here. He's just doing Jack Flaherty things. Hasn't been super stellar. He's pretty much given up like 2 or 3 in every start. But his K rate's been really good. He's had, let's see, 29 Ks in his last 4 starts. So he's really has some good strikeout stuff here. And if we look at the pitch mix, it looks really good for him. Everything he throws, with the exception of the curveball, the Astros are bottom 6 in. And then on the other side for Blanco, Tigers are hitting the fastball. They're a top 10 fastball hitting team. Throws it about 40% of the time. He's a junk ball pitcher. He's not going to blow it by you. He's going to throw fastball. He's going to throw a slider, a curveball, to change up. So he does do a good job of mixing it up, which keeps his hard hit percentage pretty low. On the season, he's only given up a 31% hard hit percentage. That is one of the lowest for any starters. You've got 2 really good bullpens here. I don't know who's going to win this game. I have a soft lean towards the Tigers, but really I think the best play here would be under 8 if you can get it. I do really like that under 8. That is a play that almost made the card. My concern is I'm 99% sure that by the time most of you watch this, it's going to be 7.5 or 7. So that's why I didn't put it on the card. Next play is going to be the Braves and the Rockies. This is going to be Bryce Elder going up against Ryan Feltner. So Feltner's start got moved to today instead of yesterday. Elder, he's just not good, man. He's 0-1, giving up an opponent average of 274. He's got a 5.57 ERA. Feltner on the other side has been horrendous against the Braves in his career. Now, we're dealing with a small sample size of 3 games, but in those 3 games, he is 0-3 with a 12 ERA. 2 of those starts being at Coors, where he gave up 6 earned runs in both of those games. Elder, I didn't actually look up his Coors numbers. It's probably bad because he's bad. So I don't really have a play in this one. The Braves probably win. Do I trust them? No. What do I want to take? I want to take the Rockies to win, or Rockies team total over 4.5 at -105. But I don't know if I can get behind this offense either. That said, they have a really good matchup today. So I think most of this team should be able to hit off of this guy. I mean, Hunter Goodman's having a pretty damn hot start to the season. Of course, you got Ryan McMahon, who's pretty good. Jordan Beck's kind of came out of nowhere and has been absolutely slugging. So Jordan Beck to hit a home run is something that I was looking at myself. But on the other side for Atlanta, they have a fantastic matchup as well. I just don't know if I want to trust them. I feel like we're about to see an offensive spell happen. They had some blunders in Arizona, a couple of extra inning games, so I just don't know if I can get behind them here. So for me, it's Rockies team total over 4.5 or Rockies money line, but can't get behind either of those. Last game on the card is going to be the Miami Marlins going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dustin May going up against Edward Cabrera. Cabrera has not been a joyful game for him. Over his career, he's got 4 games pitched since 2022 against the Dodgers. He is 1-3 with a 11 ERA, so not good. His last time he pitched against them twice last year. He went 4.1 innings and gave up 11 earned runs. So not someone I can get behind today. Now, that said, Dustin May on the other side got absolutely destroyed by the Cubs in his last start. He went 5 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned runs. Now, big disparity between the Cubs offense and the Marlins. So, but if we look at guys who have faced Cabrera, really not a ton of success here. I mean, Mookie is only 1 for 7. Will Smith's 0 for 4. Shohei 2 for 5, so not a lot of ABs there. Freeman's 0 for 7. Conforto's 2 for 6. Muncy, one of the more successful ones, at 3 for 6. Edmonds 1 for 2. Teoscar Hernandez 0 for 2. So not a lot of ABs against this lineup. So you can't really read a ton into that, but I don't really see an angle where I feel comfortable taking the Marlins here, but there's zero value on taking the Dodgers. Maybe you could run back the play we had yesterday and do the race to 5, but I think they should hit Cabrera, and then this bullpen's god-awful. So in terms of the weather, it's going to be 57 degrees, mid humidity, mid pressure, and there's going to be a 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right field. Cabrera is a massive fly ball pitcher, 65% fly ball, as opposed to May, who's actually a ground ball pitcher. So another thing that works in the Dodgers' favor. Dodgers race to 5 would be the only thing I can think of. The run line is juiced to the gills. So yeah, no value there. So Dodgers race to 5 if you're looking. Almost put it on the card, but I need to see another start from Dustin May. This Marlins offense is sneaky. So just in case, I want to see another start from him here. All right, let's get into our best bets and get you guys on your way. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys have any comments. I will try to make sure I put the timestamps in there. So if I forget, just let me know. Sometimes it's very time consuming to go through because I have to watch the whole video, but it is what it is. All right, best bets for today. Griffin Canning over 15.5 outs. Like I said, I just don't really like how the bullpen is for the Mets right now. Washington's been aggressive with the sticks throughout the series. I don't think that's going to change tomorrow. Yankees money line, just a disparity in teams. We haven't seen the Orioles do anything. Reds cards over 8.5. Patrick Corbin over 5.5 hits. And our last play is going to be the Twins first 5 at plus 100. So those are the plays, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And it might look a little different for the next couple of days. I will be traveling, so we'll figure something out. But yeah, appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.